Hello, this is Frank Klesitz, the CEO of Viral Marketing. Welcome to our next live database marketing hangout where we talk all things getting the most from your number one business asset, which is your database, your customers, your unconverted prospects, basically all the people you've met or connected with, or at least maybe have opted in on your website a lot in this case today with Brett, that have given you permission to stay in touch. So how do you stay in touch with those people? What do you send them? What are the topics? That's what we do here at Viral Marketing with video. Then how do you prioritize your follow-up with those people to get business? And Brett is a master at that. Brett's a Viral Marketing client here at Viral. The title of this hangout is how he generates 5,000 opt-in leads a day. Now, those are raw leads. Obviously, I have to sort through those and find the qualified ones, and we're going to talk about that. But talk about scaling up database building, and we're going to go into that today. Now, before we do, if you're interested in downloading a copy of Brett's marketing plan, like the actual video marketing plan Brett uses to sort through all those leads, all those contacts, maybe to find out who's more interested to want to talk about real estate now in his case, go to thedatabasereset.com. And it's a free report that I wrote. It's 20 pages. It goes over how to reconnect with your neglected database, all those emails, all those contacts with video to increase sales. Go through the whole step. And it's the exact same marketing plan that Brett uses. In fact, what all of our clients use. If you hire us, it's the marketing plan you'll use. I think you'll really enjoy that a lot. And also, Brett, before we get started, I want to let everyone know that you are looking to hire people to help service all these leads, not only in Tempe, where you're based out of, but also
Correct.
Other markets. Is that right?
Absolutely. We're always looking for talented people for Arizona, where our primary team is, and then we're expanding our team. So we're now in California, just outside of LA. We're in Tucson, so we're looking for really cities on the West Coast mostly. But yeah, we're looking to expand. So
yeah,
we got plenty of leads, so the leads aren't our issue.
Yeah, so here's the deal. If you go through this hangout and you're like, I don't want to deal with all this and too much risk and too much money and oh my gosh, just call Brett and he could probably just like hand you the leads and you work at a different split and just not have to deal with all of it. Exactly. But if you want to and you're the entrepreneur or you want to do this, we're going to cover some pretty cool stuff today. So Brett, here we go, buddy. Thanks for coming to hang out.
Hey, thanks for having me.
All right. So let's get started here with the first 5 minutes, and this will not do it justice, 5 minutes. But just give us a quick background of how in the world you got into your production level. And again, remind me, everyone, what your production level will be this year. Tell us the story of how you got to where you're at.
Got it. So yeah, I got licensed in 2005, July 2005, which in Phoenix, Arizona was the height of the market. There could not have been a probably worse time to get into real estate because you had just enough to know like, wow, this is the easiest thing I've ever done, right? I got licensed. My first year, I sold a ton of homes. I had crazy success because anyone could sell a home in 2005 in Phoenix, right? So came out, thought it's the easiest thing that I've ever done. Primarily worked with investors, so sold a ton of investors' homes right at the peak of the market. Fast forward 2 years, no investor will buy. Everything I really knew didn't work, and now the people that I sold homes to that I sold them for $350,000 are trending downward and ultimately are going to be worth half of what I sold them for. So not a great way to build your database initially. But yeah, so got started. Really had to make a decision 2007 or 8, more towards the end of 8, that all the smart guys were running into REO and everyone was running away from short sales. And I said, I'm going to be the biggest short sale agent in the Valley. I don't know anything about them. And I'm just going to start listing short sales because no one wants to deal with this problem. And so the thing I didn't think through at that time was just how long it would really take them to close. So I built up an inventory of 50 listings, grew that to 150, and it took a year for some of these to close in 14 months when it first started. So that's when I really started building the team. So out of the worst market ever, I had to get an assistant immediately to help process paperwork in the short sale era, and really started building a team from 2008 to now. Once the banks obviously changed their rules, made it quicker to close short sales, and I had the biggest pipeline of them out there. So that started closing. And then really, I'd say one of the keys to my success has just been figuring out what the niche is of the moment, right? In every market, there's an opportunity, and to figure that out, ideally before anyone else, and then go get your unfair share of it. So, in 2008, 9, 10, it was short sales. 2000, 10, and 11, beyond, it was REO. Then you get into when all the hedge funds started stepping into Phoenix, and I represented a couple of them exclusively, so sold them, hundreds, thousands of homes. And then, really now it's just the regular equity business, which we're back to, traditional real estate as it is. And I don't want to jump all the way back, but the reason I got my license was the investment aspect of real estate. I was flipping homes. I had a good agent, But I wanted to be so involved in the process that I ended up doing really a lot of it. So I got my license to flip homes, and that's still a big part of our business. We still flip, we'll flip 20, 25 homes this year. And from there, like I said, I just grew it to what it is today. We didn't always have huge production, but if you went from 2008 to now, we went from 70 or 80 deals in 2008, 150 deals 2009. By 2011, we sold our record year, which was 675 houses.
Wow.
We've really hovered between 11 was great. 2013 we sold 635 houses, and then we're right at 400. Next year should be back at that 600 level.
That's incredible. And what you are the master at is of scaling up lead generation, of writing the checks and spending the money and getting the systems in place to scale up the lead gen beyond just one person asking for referrals, building their database as the single rainmaker. You have successfully made that jump. Okay.
Correct.
So this is a hangout for someone that wants to go to the ultimate of database email building and contact building with the 5,000 opt-ins.
Right.
So let's start with breaking down those 5,000 opt-ins, where they come from. Okay. What services you use and whatnot, how we capture them, and then we'll talk about how we bring them into the database. So let's get started. What's your number one lead source? Let's go with the seller side, then the buyer side. So let's talk sellers. How do you get opt-ins from sellers?
Perfect. So, and I'll give a little background. So everything we do, our team functions off of the phone, right? And the reason I built the business that way is I figured out no matter how I met someone, if I meet you at a bar, I meet you at a networking event, ultimately I've got to put your information into my database and I got to call you and follow up. So really at the end of the day, every lead source is going to function off contacts, is going to function off the phone. So if you walked into our office from 9 to noon, which just ended right now in Phoenix, every agent's there from 9 to noon, they're on the phone, headset on. So every lead generation tactic we do is enhanced by the fact that we're going to hammer the phones every day from 9 to noon to make sure if someone comes into our world from whatever source, we're going to work them until they really either buy, we're going to nurture them out. And if you're 12 months out, we're going to get that business. So on the seller side, we start with the phone. So expireds, FSBOs, absentee owners, specialty list, just listed, just sold. We don't call the phone book. I mean, it almost feels that way because we make so many outbound calls, but we hammer the phone. So we're getting, those aren't really, I wouldn't call those opt-ins, but we started the phone. The best strategy that we're using right now for seller leads is online valuation leads. Putting those, if you've seen them on, either Google or Facebook, the valuation leads where you're driving someone to it says, find out what your home's worth, find out what your San Diego or your Arizona home is worth instantly online, driving them back to a page, and then ultimately capturing that lead. And the key to that whole element is the follow-up, right? To get the leads right, the key is going to be the copy. What is the landing page like? And then what's your audience? And so you've got
what you're getting is the email address of a homeowner. That's really what you're getting. And then the address.
Yeah, you get phone. Well, you always get the address, even if they back out, right? Because they type in their address first. But most people enter their full contact info is the surprising part. And for those that don't, then you've got to use the internet and go and get their phone number. But even if you have an address, what I like about valuation leads so much is even if I've got an address, I can go to the tax records to get their name. If I've got the name and address, I can go pull a phone number.
So how much are you spending a month? Where are the ads going? And how many opt-ins are you getting a month?
So we spend about $10,000 a month now, Google and Facebook. But if you count full leads, partial leads, and address onlys, we're probably closer to 10,000. It's about $1 a lead. Full leads are going to run, $2 to $3 a lead, and then the address onlys are obviously much less. But we end up turning our address onlys into full leads. So, we're generating, like I said, close to right at about 10,000.
It's $1 a click.
What's that?
It's $1 a click, not $1 a lead. You're getting $1 a lead. That means it's 10,000 leads.
Correct. That's the right number.
So you're getting 10,000 leads, 10,000 opt-ins?
I work really close to 10,000 leads. It might be like 8,300. we're trending right in there. Now that counts partials, right? I'm counting partials into this.
Okay. So you're actually generating a lot more than 5,000 leads.
And if you got it in the buyer side, we're generating. So we're building. I decided about 4 months ago to throw my wallet over the fence, and we're going to have our banner standout year in 2016. So I put that out there now so it's going to happen. But yeah, we're committed to, we're building a massive pipeline. Like the way I look at my business is that I want to have the biggest pipeline of buyers and sellers that are going to do something in the next 12 months of anyone out there.
Okay. So let me get this straight. You're spending $10,000 a month on buyer and seller lead generation. The
No, I'm
buyers.
talking that's just the seller side.
So $10,000 just on seller lead generation on Facebook and Google to get a free value report.
Correct.
You drive them to an unbranded page, they get their contact information, then they go into your system, which we'll talk about later.
Correct.
All right, what's the next seller source?
So from there, it would be, I mean, you could go out to all the referral sites out there, whether it's HomeGain, whether it's Dave Ramsey, all these guys that will basically give you a lead for a referral. All those added together makes up a decent source of business. But beyond that, it's really the phone for us. I mean, we keep it pretty simple. I mean, for us, our big number one thing right now is the valuation pages, Google and Facebook. Our second thing is really the phone and generating nurtures from the phone, just hammering past, expireds, old expireds. Again, we'll call anything. So that's our goal there.
All right. So I want to go a little more specific on this because I'm sure there's lots of questions being raised. So you're spending $10,000 a month.
Yep.
Generate leads from Facebook. We understand Facebook. You're running just to get the free value report ads to homeowners all over Tempe and Phoenix for the most part.
Right.
What ads are you running on Google for a free value report?
Same thing, right? You're just running an ad, driving to a free value, find out what your Chandler home's worth instantly, right?
Like a display network, banner ads.
Exactly. Same thing. And I would say we're getting better results right now. We're paying more on Google than we are on Facebook. So I think Facebook is, we're spending the vast majority of our budget on Facebook for that reason. But we still do some stuff on Google, and we're having success. I can't get the lead cost even close to what I can on Facebook.
So you're running banner ads to the residents, and you're running Facebook ads to the free value report, and you have a team of people just crushing the follow-up on the phones. Got that. Then you have all the leads that come in from your referral partners, essentially.
Correct. Yep.
Right. Now, do you do any dedicated outbound calling to generate just cold calls?
Oh no, that's what I'm saying. That is our phone strategy is outbound. No, we've got a army of people that are outbound calling.
Okay, so let's talk about that. So you have people receiving leads and working the lead follow-up, but there's also dedicated cold outbound.
Absolutely.
Tell us about the cold outbound. I'm going to talk about lead generation. How are you getting the new names? So you have Facebook ads, Google ads, scaling up with cold traffic.
Yep.
You have the referral partners, but then you also have dedicated people just cold calling, looking for leads.
Correct. So
tell us about that.
Yeah, so we pull data like our main, if you want to get the main sources, you got like the new expireds, everybody calls those, right? That's probably our least favorite list. I've definitely asked my guys. That's the list that everyone's hitting. Everyone wants to, because it's the lowest hanging fruit, but it's also the hardest, right? I mean, if your home expires tomorrow, Frank, you're going to get 32 calls. Mm-hmm. But yet tomorrow, but a week from now, you're going to get 0 calls. So for us, we would rather focus on old expireds than new ones. Okay. But if you think of your market, if you think every home in Phoenix or in wherever market you're in, if you went back 5 years for every home that expired that didn't resell, it's a great list of people to call. We call absentee owners, people that own a home in Phoenix that are not, they don't live here, or they live they don't live in that home, where they live somewhere in Phoenix. Most of the people live out of state. So that's a huge, huge list of people. From there, we take quite a few listings. So our just listed and just sold calls are pretty massive. Every time we list a home or sell one, we're going to call 250 to 500 people.
Where do you get the phone numbers?
So we're pulling, there's a number of sources, right? You can go, our dialer that we use is Mojo. I think it's the best dialer out there, especially as you want to scale your business. It really gets, as you add people to it, it's really easy to manage and scale. Mojo's got a great lookup. Data, when you want to go to get phone numbers, it's all a function of what are you willing to pay, right? Data is really easy to get. It's just the more you pay, the more accurate it is. So start with Mojo. From there, I went to Cole Information Systems. Mm-hmm. Cole Realty Resource. Now they've added emails to that, which I have not used, but that's a great source. You can buy data. Some title companies will like Black Knight Data. You can go, you just keep tiering it up to what are you willing to spend. So we really buy and aggregate a ton of data.
Check out, for everyone here, I just learned about this, Tower Data. You can upload mailing addresses and they'll do email appends. Ooh, so you can take those emails and use them as a custom audience. Like if you have all the mailing addresses of a condo, you can now run ads to the condo. It's essentially if the email address matches in a custom audience. Gosh. Towerdata.com.
I got to make a note. All right.
I learned that in my mastermind on Monday. All right. So let's keep going here. So you have online leads.
Yep.
You have seller leads, $10,000 on seller leads. I want to clarify that. All the referral partner relationships that you have, calling and outbound calling old expireds, absentee owners, just listed, just solds. One of the things I do want to cover, and in full disclosure, we're going to go here. I'm a part owner in this company, but Jessica runs it. All right.
Right.
It's called 1,000 calls a day. She used to work for me. She runs it, but you have individuals in the Philippines making lots of these calls. Is that right?
That's correct. Yeah, we love it. I couldn't say enough great things about 1,000 calls a day. So yeah, I actually have 5.
So you have
full-time.
5 full-time people in the Philippines just crushing phones outbound.
Correct. Yep.
Okay.
And their goals are pretty. I mean, we're looking for them to bring in 3 to 5 nurtures per day. Again, it's a seller that's going to sell in the next 12 months. Yeah. That's how we're using it. So 5 people, times if we're hitting the goal at 5, I mean, it's pretty 25 people a day, adding to that database, right? So our database
have those dedicated prospectors. I mean, theoretically, it's called 1,000 calls a day because if you load up every phone number of every homeowner in a county, right, and you let the dialer rep, you can make 100 dials, right?
Right.
And that's what pretty much they're doing. You have them dedicated solely on outbound. They're not doing. Are they doing any inbound stuff? Any warm stuff?
We're doing 100% outbound.
That would get you lots of leads with what you're doing. Having 5 full-time people calling 1,000 calls a day.
Yeah.
Absentee owners, old expireds, referral partners, online leads. Anything else?
And that's really the last piece of it, which all of this functions into, is just this massive database that we're building, right?
So we're going to get into that. So that's how you're feeding the database.
Yep, on the seller side.
Got it. Let's go through your vendors you're using. Then we'll go over to the buyer side. So who's helping you with 10 grand a month ad spend on Facebook and banner ads for home value leads?
Yeah, so we've got our lenders participate in our marketing.
Mm-hmm.
So we've got our lenders in there. We've got our home inspector.
Not lenders, but so what he's saying is he has MSAs set up to help offset some of the costs with this. But who actually does it? Do you have a vendor that actually runs this campaign for you?
Oh, I'm sorry. Who does? So I do have my tech guru guy, but I really kind of geek out on custom audiences, traffic.
Oh, so that's you.
I'm pretty deep into it. Yeah, when it comes to when I decided to go with that big of a spend, I wanted to do we A/B split test every single thing, and you're figuring out, just to give you a random, really random fact, but I went on one of our Facebook audiences. You could separate it by someone's relationship status. So are they single, married, engaged, whatever, in a relationship or not specified?
Mm-hmm.
Ironically, the 2 groups that had the highest cost per click and the lowest click-through rate were people that were in a relationship or engaged. Which, when you think about it, right, makes sense, right? They're busy. I'm not buying a home. I don't want to think about it. So by removing those groups, I eliminated, I was able to reduce my cost per click by 30 or 40%.
Brett, we should do a whole other hangout on this. I didn't even know this. This is news to me. This is
what's happening right now, Frank. This is real time.
All right. So one of the things that's cool with Brett is you can really tell he's the marketer of what he does. He's gone from being the doer of what he do. The doer of what he does, the doer of what you do, to the marketer of what you do. And that's a huge aha here. So you handle all that advertising. All right. Referral partners, we understand that. Want to go through those again? Who refers you business?
Yeah. So, you're talking about the referral sites?
Yeah. You have Dave Ramsey. Who else?
So you've got Dave Ramsey, Agent Pronto, Agent Machine. I'm trying to think of the one I think off the top of my head. Agent Ranking, Glenn, all those ones you can get into. If you Google real estate agent referrals, those top, there's probably 15 of them out there. I'm in all of them, or almost all of them. Yeah.
The old expireds, everyone knows how to get that off the MLS or RedX or Vulcan or something. Absentee owners, any insight on getting that information?
I would go to your title companies, probably the best pull. The least expensive, any big title company, especially the national ones, are going to have a marketing department that usually pulls that data. Okay. So that's where I'd go there.
And then just listed, just sold number is call information in the dialer.
I'd go call information. It's for $1,500 a year for cell phones. That you couldn't beat it. From there, go to your title company and actually pay. If you pay per record, for about 6 cents a record, you can get anyone's email. Phone. If you have name and address, you can pull a phone for 6 cents a record. Black Knight data.
Ooh, that sounds like some good data.
Yeah, I think that's some. Yeah, Black Knight. For
stuff.
6 cents a record, you can buy crazy accurate information.
Cool. All right. Well, that's scary, but moving on. That's social security numbers. All right, so let's keep going on. So we got online webinar, we got the online leads, everything else. We talked everything about sellers. And if you have any questions, by the way, on the Hangout, for those of you attending, feel free to ask them on the Q&A section here on the right. All right. So that's sellers. Buyers.
Yep.
Where do you bring them in? How do you bring them into your database?
So when I always start, right, when I think of the buyer side of your business, I start least expensive, and then I get all because most of the lead sources that are not very expensive, you're capped at how many you can get, right? So there's just a number, you only get X, and once you max that out, you've got to move down the line, and all the roads lead to pay-per-click, right? I mean, it's either AdWords or Facebook is the final phase of how you're going to fill your bucket. But the best lead we get that's the least expensive is every person should be call capturing their real estate sign in the yard, and they should have a text writer on everything they do. And additionally, any marketing you do, so any marketing we do, whether if we're paying $1 or I don't even care if it's free, we are going to have a separate phone number on that source of business, and we're going to capture, we're going to know exactly how many calls came from this source of business, right? And
like if by phone?
We actually use Callfire.
So Callfire is one vendor. Another vendor, I think, is If by phone. Basically, they give you like 50 numbers, and you put a different number on like all your stuff and track the calls and the call time. It even records it, I think.
So Callfire records it. You can forward it. You can so our sign, if you drive down the street, most people have a local number on their sign that rings their cell phone. They're busy all the time. They don't answer their phones. Buyer calls in, hangs up, and that call's gone, right? It's history.
Yeah.
So what we do on our local, if you're calling our local number, it rings all 15 of our agents at the exact same time. And even with 15 agents,
whoever the first person answers.
First person answer gets it. But even with 15 people, we still don't have a 100% answer rate. So it actually, it turns that basically call into an email. That email comes in, we forward that email to our virtual assistant, who then keys it in our database and then routes that lead to a buyer's agent on a missed sign call.
Got it.
So even a missed sign call, we're going to call to death. I mean, we're going to call it forever.
Got it. And it pushes to your database, or does someone manually put it in?
We push those to the VA. So all of our missed calls for anything, any campaign, are going to get keyed into the database, sourced and tagged, and then sent out to an agent who could sell it right then.
I mean, not to get off topic, but that's the hardest thing, is to make sure all this stuff ends up in the database for follow-up.
Well, that's why I went to Callfire. Once I went to Callfire, because they all come in the same way, I mean, it's not hard, right? If you have a separate phone number everywhere, all the emails come in, whatever, and you can just tell, they actually measure the length of the call. And so you know that any call under 30 seconds was a hang up or a no-go. So you just key that in and it gets in there. So we're feeding, and that's another way we're feeding it. But every sign we have and every listing, we're going to get 2 to 4 leads per week for every listing we have between sign calls and
those are good leads.
And they're the best leads out there, right? Nobody's running around calling on signs because they don't want to buy a house, right? They're a buyer.
Yeah.
And the text writers, we added text writers and just doubled what we were getting.
Do you use radio ads back on the sell side?
We don't use any radio. No radio.
Okay. Haley asked that question. All right, keep on going down the buyer list. Top best to worst.
So, all right, from there, I would feature all of my listings everywhere I could online, right? I would own my listings on, the big guys, Zillow, Trulia, Homes.com, depending on your market, Realtor.com as well. So just owning your own listing, it's not that expensive, but now when the lead comes in, you get it, right? From there, we do pretty well on Craigslist. So we post on Craigslist.
What's the call to action on that, since you can't have links?
You can't have a live link. You put a link and you're still driving them back to your website.
It still takes live links in there?
Does not take live links, but you just put the link in there. They got to copy and paste it. Yeah. Okay. But we're still getting. But again, you max that out, right? At a certain point, if your marketing Craigslist only has 1,000 posts a day, and you post an extra 1,000, you're not. It's a diminishing return. So I think it's a great piece of your business, but there's the number where you max that out.
Cool. Anything else?
Insert those referral partners. Same thing on the buyer side. I'm trying to think if there's something I'm missing. Really, from there, the next bump is really going to going to pay-per-click, Facebook, Google.
How much do you spend on buyer pay-per-click?
We're probably right at $5,000-ish, right in there, $4,500 to $5,000.
And this is smart because the listings drive the buyers. You're not reversed. It's not like it's all going to buyers.
No, our focus is now we run a huge buyer business because I believe that I believe that everyone's business should be 50-50 listings to buyers. And I think if you're heavier, some people say no, you have to be all listings. But if you take a listing, market it right, track everything, track the sign calls, track everything, you're going to end up with more, at least one buyer and maybe more. So right, we have to make a really conscious effort to push the listing side, or we'd be way buyer heavy.
Yes. So you put 10,000 in the seller leads online versus only 5,000 in the buyer. I just think the big aha for people here is 5 full-time people doing outbound calls to find leads is a big commitment.
Well,
right?
that's virtual, and then we've
That's
got
virtual.
four internal.
So you have 9?
9.
That was my math.
Yeah.
You have 9 full-time people calling to find nurturers or people who might be interested in selling their home to pass in your database for your agents to work.
And some of the 4 internal, they do work a portion of the inbound too. So they're going to do both. They're a hybrid. They're going to do inbound and outbound.
Got it. Okay. So all said and done, so I think I got the title of the Hangout wrong. When you said 5,000 a month of leads, you're probably getting a lot more than that.
Oh, we're getting
opt-ins. I mean, how many people are you bringing into your database a month?
God, it's so. I mean,
on the whole buyer and the wholesaler side.
That's what I'm saying. We're everything combined. We're over 10,000.
That's incredible. Now,
But
obviously,
I want to give an asterisk because I don't want someone blowing me up online. A lot of those are valuation partial leads, right?
I was just going to say that we had to
I don't
talk
want someone to say he's not generating. Yes, we are. They're address only. Someone keyed an address in, and I'm going and fighting to get their phone number, and so I may not have contact info on everybody, but no, we're generating in addition to everything else we're putting in. Yeah.
Let's call these raw leads.
Yeah.
These are raw leads that have to be followed up and qualified.
Oh,
and
all of it's
researched.
raw at some level. Yeah. I mean, it's degrees of raw, right? I mean.
No, I get that. I think everyone understands that. So you're just basically getting 10,000 names to call that are hopefully a little bit better than just doing straight out of the phone book.
Correct.
Right? Good. All right. So let's move on now to how you're staying in touch with them. And if everyone notices here, for clients of viral marketing, for those who are interested in viral is not a lead source because viral is not about lead generation. Viral is about lead identification, lead conversion, past clients, centers of influence. Viral is about staying in touch with the people within your existing database to move people to you faster, expert positioning, and so on and so forth. I think that's a key distinction when, if you think about viral marketing, like how many leads did I get? It's not necessarily the right way to think about what we do. It's about this next part, which is staying in touch with all this in the first place. Okay,
right.
So let's talk about that. So where do all of these names funnel into? What system do you use?
Boomtown. So everything we do, we won't even use a vendor for lead generation if it does not automatically import to Boomtown, with the exception of Callfire, which our VA keys all those in. But if we're going to go do a mass spend, it's got to auto import to Boomtown. We cannot win without it.
Everything goes right into Boomtown. That's where all of your agents and callers work out of.
Everything's in there, and every lead's got to be. I mean, we're measuring everything in there. How long we responded, how many times. Everything filters into that system.
So who helped you set all of that up with all of the lead sources and all the follow-up times and all the triggers to make that efficient?
So probably like everybody, right? I've had every CRM out there. I've had every single. That's why I can say they're all the best CRM is the one that you'll use, right? And actually learn how to use it. I never knew how to use any of them in the past. I always had my staff do it. So when we moved to Boomtown 2 years ago, which is the best move I've ever made, I took the time with my staff to learn it. So like I said, I will be the foremost authority on Boomtown. So auto importing the leads is actually, that part's easy. The part I think you and I are going to talk about, which how to work them, is the more difficult part. But yeah, getting them in there, it's really not hard. I mean, everything auto imports. I mean, you got to manage it and be checking in, but getting them in there is not hard. So really, myself and a couple key leadership of the staff have done that.
Good. Let me go back. So we're talking about inside the database right now after the lead generation's done, everyone. But let me just step back at a couple questions. That we probably should have answered. Derek asks, what's the cost of the virtual assistant ISAs? So what does that cost you for those 5 people plus Jessica's management at 1,000 calls?
So there's a couple options in terms of who you hire virtually. So she's got a couple of options there, whether you want to go My Outdesk or through a different company. So that virtual cost is what it is, and I think it runs
$5 to $8 an hour if you go through My Outdesk. $8, $9
$5 to $8 an hour if you go through My Outdesk, and it's less if you go through. So I would call, if the virtual assistant part of it's going to really be, let's call it $1,600 to about $700 or $800 in that range, just depending on
$1,700 a month per prospector. So you're spending just on that with 5, 1,700 times 5. What is that?
$4 billion. No,
whatever that is, everybody. That's what he's spending on the prospectors.
Yeah, and so
you have a manager on that.
So I didn't go with My Outdesk, right? I went with the lesser option. So I have the virtual assistants that are the $600 to $800 range, and then you pay a management fee of $1,000 per caller.
Okay. So your prospector is only $600 a month for full time.
Full time, I think that's closer to $600 to $800. And like
so $800 a month for a full time person making 1,000 calls a day.
Hey, man, she found it. This was brought to me. It was great. That was my. So yeah,
I didn't know this.
Yeah, it's about, I think all in per caller with her and everything, we're call it $1,800, and I'm right there. And that includes there's some VoIP costs and some stuff that you have to pay when they're overseas. But so 5 people's under 10 grand.
Got it. So 10 grand a month on online value leads, 10 grand a month on prospecting.
Yep.
Right. Plus your referral partners, which you pay probably a piece of the business or whatever it is, remember on there.
Yep.
And then some other people in your office making calls to the expireds or absentee owners or whatever that may be. Got it.
Right.
Good. So hopefully you answered that question. And then one more, Haley asks, what's your average pay per click on your Facebook campaign? Do we cover what your cost per click is? Because people can go on their campaigns and see it. They don't necessarily know what their cost per lead is because you have to make a conversion pixel.
Correct.
Just generally, with all this money you're spending to all these homeowners, what are you paying per click on your ads? So people have some idea of where they should be.
Yeah, you're going to run. I mean, we run all across the board. I mean, our goal, obviously, we want to be, as close to 50 cents as we can get. Some that's hard to do. We're always if anything goes way over, $1, we kill that because obviously you're not going to end up where you need to be.
That's all we need to know. So your target range for a click is 50 cents to $1.
50 cents to $1. And what you want to do, though, is manage that campaign to where keep tweaking the audience, right? Like if you've got something that's at whatever, let's pick the number, 72 cents. Look, if you really do analytics deep into it, you can see there's a part of it is working better than the other part. And so one of the programs we use is called Ad Espresso. That manages your Facebook. It's a tool that basically gives you analytics to help manage your budget better.
Cool. Well, this is a whole nother course we can teach, Brett.
This is a whole other, tracking. When you get off on tracking and data, I can get a little.
We can geek out on this all day long.
I can get a little crazy, yeah.
All right. So let's go. So I want to answer those questions because those are the big expenses we didn't talk about so far.
Cool.
So all said and done, seller, buyer, lead generation, all the money you're spending on lead gen, how much a month?
So in-house, you're just talking on online, or are we going?
No, online and your prospectors. All the money you spend on getting the lead, getting the permission.
20, 30-ish.
30,000? Okay.
Yeah.
Which should be about 10% of GCI. If you're doing $300,000 a month in GCI and you spend 30,000, that's a good deal, right?
No.
All right. So we're back to the database. So all the leads go into Boomtown.
Yep.
You have a follow-up system for every single lead source of people on the phones trying to reach them.
Yes.
What are you doing in addition to people just calling them trying to follow up when they're in the database?
So like most agents, right, my biggest now full disclosure, so I've never met a seller, right? I have listing agents do that. I've never met a buyer. So everyone in that database has never met me, right? Which I think that represents a different challenge. So the biggest problem or the biggest opportunity I had was this list of people that no matter where they came in from, all the, like right now, I think I can give you a number, 29,000, whatever, just shy of 30,000 people in this database, okay? I have not done a great job of communicating to them, and it's growing every day. And it's really hard for someone to pick up and say, Brett wanted to call you to see how you're doing. And again, that's all great, but I wanted to go the other way. And that's when I really bumped into you guys and found out, hey, let's create videos and systematically educate them over time and then make that your call to action, right? If they click on it, if they watch it, now call them, say, hey, you watched my video.
Yeah, because it's expensive to have a lot of people burning through all these leads. The videos kind of highlight when they're clicking the links in the emails of who they should follow up with.
So I wanted a way to touch them. So we really only do 2 things, right? We use viral. So we film our 2 videos a month. Those go out. We get the list of who watched it or clicked on it. That goes to one of my inside sales execs reps who calls them, all those people. And then we, move them in the proper buckets to make sure that we're moving them along the pipeline. And the other thing we do is happy grasshopper.
Got it.
So we do the email nurturing. And I think those 2 things play really, really well together. And that's everybody in the database, regardless where you're at, you get it forever. Once you come into my world, you just get hit.
I got a geeky question to ask. So you're spending 10 grand, so $15,000 a month on buyer and seller Facebook ads and YouTube ads or Google ads, which are probably more unbranded. These are unbranded ads that you're driving email
almost all non-branded, right?
Correct. When you get those emails and your team is following up, are you taking the emails in your database, uploading those as custom audiences, and running more branded stuff to those people to help improve the conversion of the callers?
So we're doing a version. Obviously, we're doing retargeting, right? Everything we do, we're retargeting those people. So if they've gone anywhere, we're grabbing them. We're going back forever.
But you're still retargeting with unbranded to get them opt-in.
We're still retargeting unbranded. It's funny. You just went to where we're going is we're now starting to take the people that have opted in and using the custom audiences of Facebook to target them. And we're in the infancy of doing that.
Okay. I'll show you how to do that stuff.
All right.
But,
I love that.
yeah, I would take all those emails now they opted in.
Yep.
And now let's get them your videos and let's get them more branded stuff so they know who the Tanner team is because they don't know when they opted in because it was unbranded.
Right.
And that's going to back up your guys in the phone so they know who they are when they call.
I love it. I love it.
Okay. All right. So anyways, we'll keep going. So you're saying your 2 videos a month.
Yep.
One quick question on the 2 videos for everyone here. How in the world do you come up with topics people actually want to watch?
That's the best, and that was one of my biggest issues, right? When I heard about what you guys do, is I was like, hey, I don't have time to be figuring this out. I know that I won't film the videos because I've already lied to myself for 5 years and told myself I would do it. I don't know what to say. I don't know the topic. I don't have time to do all this. And you guys do it all. All I do is I show up once a month for 30 minutes. I get I get a list of 4 or 5 topics I can pick from. You get coached through the video. Make sure like I don't, have something on my teeth or I got some weird thing on my desk or whatever. No, the coach walks you through it. You film your 2 videos and the rest, all you have to do is wait till you guys upload it everywhere online. That was another issue is just, I don't want to put a staff person on uploading everything to Twitter and YouTube or wherever. So yeah, you guys do all of it. My only obligation is I show up, I film 2 videos. I think when Scott sold me, I said, I'll show up for a half hour and that's all I'm doing.
That's all I need.
And he's like, well, that's all I need. I said, well, cool. We'll see how this works out. So yeah, I film my 2 videos. You guys do it all. And then I get the list. I get an email that says, these are all the people that watched and clicked. And that's automatically forwarded over to Inside Sales. And it just, that process happens naturally. I mean, it's automatic at this point.
Okay, good. All right. Where can people go to watch your videos online? Give us a list of your websites.
Yeah.
Where can people go to see all this stuff?
I would say so for my agent stuff, so I do film, I have an agent blog that obviously you've helped me improve it. I mean, 1,000 times.
We're going to get to that because he's doing the viral plan of the 2 videos for recruiting. That's whatbrettuses.com.
Right.
It's not done yet. So there's some things not working on there, everybody, but it will be announced.
But you can go there and watch some videos. The videos are good.
Yeah. Videos are good. But some links may not work because it's not done yet. But whatbrettuses.com is like your coaching and training and recruiting blogs. People get to know what's like working for your team.
Yep.
What are your other sites? Your Boomtown site, your video blog, what are those?
So Your Next Phoenix Home is my Boomtown site. Your Next Phoenix Home. We have the same. We use that Your Next Home for wherever we expand. You could go to brettanner.blogspot.com is where you could see the videos that we do, the ones that you and I talk about, like the viral videos. Mm-hmm. And really that's it. That's kind of the extent of our website. We don't spider out. I mean, we're either driving them to, and then we use if we're going to create a custom landing page, we'll use lead pages or Instapage if we're going to just do some generic, lead capture pages.
Got it. Yeah, I love those landing page generators are great. We use unbounce.com. Great service. So awesome. So you send out 2 videos a month. So basically it's 2 videos a month, phone calls, maybe a custom audience, those people with branded ads.
Yep.
And Happy Grasshopper for some little touches, try to spark a conversation.
Yep.
Right? And that's how you communicate with the whole list.
That's it.
Is there anything else you want to share about with database management? I think where can people go to get the training to actually organize and sort their database so they can manage all of these contacts coming in all the time? Like they have to have good training. Does Boomtown give you all the training for all this? Or did you go to other sources?
So I guess I got 2 answers for you, right? The inbound people, like people that are inbound, every lead's got a to-do assigned, right? So my guys, if a lead comes in, and let's say Frank's a new lead, you come in, we call you, we're going to text you, probably call you twice, text you twice today. Mm-hmm. If we don't get a hold of you tomorrow, there's a to-do schedule that we got to call and text you. It's like you don't move until, if we don't reach you for a long period of time, we throw you an archive, and then twice a month that's uploaded to the dialer, and we're just going to keep, blowing your phone up until you, buy or die.
Do you cover all this in your business plan and those videos we're putting together for you?
We do. Yeah. So the business plan will have it. And then additionally, the people who want to go, deep, we do 4 times a year. I invite a handful of guys to come out to my office. We do that on-site tour. I've talked about
that would be valuable. So for those of you, I'm helping Brett, attract talent to his team to help service all these leads. So if you're interested in that, again, contact him. But he sent me 6 hours of video, something ridiculous. He recorded this whole workshop, and we're transcribing it and turning it into a book, and it's all going to be for free to download his entire business plan on that What Brett uses once that's done here shortly.
Yep.
All right. Good. Normally, right now, what I would go into is how are you prioritizing follow-up with all of the people in that database. So the viral marketing plan for everyone here, at the very beginning of this hangout, I talked to you about if you want to get the video marketing plan that Brett uses, you go to thedatabasereset.com. It's 20 pages. I wrote it. It goes through the whole video marketing plan to communicate and get more business from your database. However, you probably want to start with your existing relationships, maybe just adding 3 emails a day to the people that you talk to. Brett has definitely scaled this up quite considerably, right? So we're learning a lot here. So you're getting lots of emails. You're adding emails to your database in a very scaled fashion. You're communicating with your database with your 2 videos a month, your other emails, and your phone calls. And then we also talked about, too, the third step of that plan, which you download at the database reset, is you're prioritizing your phone call follow-up with the people who are consuming your video content, so you have the expert positioning, people see who you are, and hopefully a positive phone call comes from that, right? Is there anything more? Well, there's nothing more I want to talk about that. Let's keep moving on. So the next thing that you're using, because we probably have a lot of top producers on, this is a type of hangout that will attract people that are very entrepreneurial and they're thinking of scaling very large. You need to find people to service all of this. When you're spending this kind of money, you need to have a team of people to service all these leads and work those leads. Why don't we talk about what you're doing with technology to get the word out about the benefits of working with you, and also what you're looking for in an agent, maybe what your splits are, so people have some idea of like how do you hire the people and find the people to work all these leads if you're going to do this.
So yeah, on the sales side, I mean, it's really our marketing plan or our attraction method's pretty simple. Our goal is to do a behavioral assessment on one agent every single day. So I hope to see a behavioral assessment. We've brought someone into our web and asked you, say, hey, Frank, we'd like to see if you're a fit for us. I want you to go take this disc analysis. And so I want to see a disc a day roll through for a potential recruiting opportunity.
All right, this is great. But let's step way back. How in the world are you getting one agent a day to say, I want to come work for you?
Oh, not want to come work for me, saying they're applying. And
they're applying.
Yeah.
How do you get one person a day applying for you?
So I'll show. So we do. It's not that complicated. So we do Craigslist ads on jobs. Like we've written 5 to 7 really good ads that we rotate out. We run them twice.
What are the titles? So if somebody wants to go to Craigslist right now and type in Tempe,
we have too many leads. If you type in we too many leads, that's one of the ads.
Okay, so the we have too many leads is yours.
Yeah, that's the best one.
Is it branded or unbranded? You tell them you're Brett Tanner or not?
We do both, right? Sometimes we do, sometimes we don't. So we've got about 6 ads. We just tested all this. We've got the 7 that are winning, right? So we run those ads. From there, we do a custom audience. So we've built a database of every agent that we think's a fit based on their current production and then based on the school. So we get all the school list data as well. We compile that list and we do the custom audiences for Facebook to target those. So now I'm running the same Craigslist ad. I'm running it on Facebook to that custom audience saying, hey, we have too many leads. And I got 3 or 4 different messages we run there.
Okay. What else?
And the last thing is public. I do 3 or 4 talks a month. Yeah. You get in front of a crowd of 2 or a couple hundred people. If you can speak at all and articulate a message, some people will be drawn to that message. So that's it.
I'm sure a lot of title companies, lender companies bring you in as a speaker in front of agents.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, so I travel, for 2015, I traveled twice a month across the country, really giving talks, about really how we do what we do.
Because you're doing the lead generation, not just in Tempe, but you can do the same everything we talked about here, you can do in markets all over the country.
We've tried to build all of our lead gen that it's scalable no matter where we were. And so that theory is being tested right now. So far, it's winning in the 2 other markets we're in. But yeah,
what are those markets?
So Tucson and East San Fernando Valley, and then the Antelope Valley of California. So East LA.
Got it. All right. So where do you drive? Again, it's the same system. You got to track leads. You got to put them into a database. You got to follow up. So all these recruits are going where to opt in for to send you an application?
Yeah. So usually if we're going to do it on Facebook, we're going to have a landing page. So we're going to set up a landing page. When you fill out your info, you're automatically emailed, go take this behavioral assessment.
What's the address of that?
The landing page?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I can pull it up. Hold on.
It's probably one of those fancy lead pages ones if you don't.
If you go to, I can tell where you could see it is if you went to the Brett Tanner team on Facebook and you scroll down, you'd see you'd see what I'm doing and you could click that link and see it.
Cool.
Yeah, so just check it out. Yeah, it's a really simple landing page. It just says, hey, we'd love to interview, love to chat more. We drive some of them into the what Brett, additionally, the what Brett uses.
And we'll use that to nurture all the people that do.
And I build my database. Anytime I go give a talk, right, I've got all those people get dumped in there. So all my agent, people get dumped in there, and over time we just drip on those. Again, it's just our database. But so that's really the 2. Any source we have, even the same thing on Craigslist, when a lead comes in, it's auto response back. Boom. Hey, Frank, we'd love to talk to you more. One of the things we need to know about you is, who you are behaviorally. Mm-hmm. We believe we put the right person in the right role. Please take this behavioral assessment. We'll be in touch.
Got it. And just give me an idea for like a prospect. Well, for a prospector or an agent, what are you looking for in a disc?
So we would love, the ideal, what we found works the absolute best is the DI, right? The off the charts DI in our model crushes it. It's perfect. IS still works, right? There's no wrong with behavior. It just is. But yeah, I'd prefer a DI, but DI, IS, got to have I to sell something.
And for those of you that have absolutely no idea what we're talking about right now, you can go to Tony Robbins, type in Tony Robbins DISC, DISC, and it's an assessment you can take to figure out like how much of a driver and how much you love people and your stability and conformity and all those things and kind of how it's like a personality assessment in some ways, right? And then you do that, take them through the interview process, go a little deeper on behavior assessment, but we don't have to get into the whole interview process yet. But that's how you're getting people who are interested to come work with you. So I don't know, what's your goal? How many people do you need to hire in the next 12 months?
So for our team in Phoenix right now, we need 5 more for what our business plan calls for 2016. So we need 5 more agents. We're going to hire another inside sales guy. We need 1 more. And really for Phoenix, that's what we need to hit our goals.
How do you pay them?
So on the buyer side of our business, it's a 45-55, 45 to the agent, 55 to me. And on the listing side, it's 70-30, 70 to me, 30 to them.
Yeah, that's still pretty good for just not having to spend any money on lead generation, and they're right there for you.
Well, the best part of what we do is so our agents only sell. They do nothing with paperwork or operations.
Yeah.
So if you're an agent on my team, the minute you get a listing agreement signed, you turn the listing in and you're done. You don't do marketing, staging, contract negotiation, inspection. You do nothing.
Yeah, you're selling.
You just wait till you get your check. You're back getting the next one. Yeah. So a lot of teams are where I see them go wrong is they've got their agents too involved in the back end of the process. And if agents are really great at sales, they're typically terrible at paperwork. And so let your salespeople sell and let operations people do operations.
That's great, man. Brett, you have definitely taken the simple viral marketing plan of, so here's what for anyone who's just not yet at Brett's level with all this, which is incredible how you scale this up, Brett. But, if you're a real estate agent or any professional service provider for that matter, you're probably talking to maybe 20, 30 people a week, let's say, if you're doing it full time. You ask them for the email address. You say, can I stay in touch? You get their email. You put it in your database. You send out your 2 videos a month, and you follow up with those people. That's really what most people do. They just go out and talk to people like anyone would. It could be even a Facebook chat. It could be an email. It could be over a phone. It could be in person, which is obviously the best. You ask for the email after the conversation. Bring it into your database. Send them the content to stay in touch. 2 videos a month. Answering commonly asked customer questions is usually the best content to send out. And then you follow up with the people that are watching those videos. And you have taken that simple concept and managed to scale it to the absolute max. And you should be very proud of yourself. All right. I think probably the big question is everyone's asking here is that when you start dropping all this coin, you spend all this money, you do all this prospecting, and at the end of the day, after you pay the splits, is it profitable? Is there money left?
Well,
after all this?
Yes, there is, right? I wouldn't do it if it wasn't. So we run a really tight P&L. We have a company that actually all they do is real estate agent financials. So I work with a company that literally does this for. It's a business. Streamline Business Solutions.
Well, there you go. So they set up your entire chart of accounts, your P&L.
But they bounce it off your bank account, your credit card, also your brokerage. So they give you an accurate P&L, and they can show you year over year, percentage of profit, where you're at this year versus last month. They can spit out these reports. It's incredible. I don't know how I ever did this without it.
Well, let's go a little more into this because no one ever talks about accounting. We're going to talk about sexy accounting for a minute.
Yeah, cool.
All right? And everyone just dropped off the hangout. No.
Yeah.
So if GCI is 100%, so 100% is GCI, can you break down maybe the percentages of revenue you dedicate to paying out agent commissions is X percent, marketing is X percent, and then what your target net profit after all expenses as a percentage of revenue?
I'll give you the model and I'll give you where I'm at, right? So if you read the Millionaire Real Estate Agent book, it says that your cost of, you start with $100,000. It's going to say that roughly 30%, 29% is going to be cost of goods sold. And for those of you who aren't accountants, that's all the money that comes out before you get your check. It's
paying your agents.
That's broker fees, splits, anything that comes out before you touch it, right? So that's now we're down to we had $100,000, now we got $70,000. In a perfect world, you'd spend 30% in expenses between lead gen and salaries and toner and all your random costs to get down to $40,000 net.
And that goes all to the owners, which in your case, you're 100% owner. It's all yours on your team.
You would get $40,000 in this example, right? And so that would be perfect. Now, there's some keys to that. Is that you're going to be in production. I'll always meet an agent like, I'm 58% profitable. And when I hear that, I go, I know two things. I know you have a low transaction count and a high average sales price, right? If you're doing 25 deals a year, if you're doing 15 deals a year in San Diego at your price, and you're all by yourself and it's all referral,
yeah,
I mean,
you might probably, some
you might be
coaches
75% profitable, right?
Yeah.
But I'm talking about, so with me completely out of it, with our splits, we run about a 40% cost of goods sold instead of 30.
Okay.
And we're about a 30% expense load for a 30% net.
So in the 30% expenses is marketing, which is about 10%, salaries is 12, and the rest is overhead. And you're still bringing about, what, 30% to the bottom line?
25 to 30%. I mean, it's hard for us to get over 30. We got to have like some things fall our way, but we're right in the 25 to 30. I fight to 30 every month. So what this bookkeeping service does is it'll allocate where your source of business was, right? So if I'm spending $8,000 a month on Zillow, and let's say that's 10% of my budget or 50% of my budget, and Zillow's only 4% of my closings, we got a problem, right? Like we'd say, well, let's get out of Zillow. Like this sucks, right? So I think most agents don't have a P&L for one, don't know how to read it if they did for two, but that P&L guides every decision that I make every month.
Yeah, that would be, and that's really the biggest question is whenever someone talks about hiring viral, it's not about lead generation. It's about, I like to say it's about positioning, not prospecting. And it's not about lead generation. It's about conversion and staying in touch and retention. And like we talked about, communicating with the database.
Right.
And also too, you got to know your numbers as far as, are you spending way overspending on what your marketing budget should be? If you're spending 20% of your GCI on marketing, you're way too high. But we won't go into that right now. We got some questions to answer.
Okay.
All right. Are you using Boomtown for your valuation leads? Russell asks.
I am not. I'm using the site I use is called Bold Leads.
Got it.
BOLDLEADS.com. Yeah, I'm using Bold Leads. I've used Boomtown. It's good.
Give me one or two things why Bold Leads makes it so unique over everything else and why they're good.
So I'll tell you. So first of all, non-branded, right? When they go to your Boomtown site, and again, I'm the biggest proponent of Boomtown, but I think when you go there for valuation, people know they're going there to be sold something.
So you want all unbranded for valuation.
You want unbranded. I mean, if they know, again, if you brand it, you might as, it's going to cost you a fortune. So there's a couple of them out there. There's really prime seller leads and Bold Leads. I think Bold Leads does it best. For me, they integrate into Boomtown. So they import into Boomtown, which is one of the reasons why I use them. But I really think they've figured it out the best. So I've tested I think the top 3 or 4 of them, and I'm able to get the best results with them.
Cool. Well, that's nice to know. Derek says another website people can go to is sexyhairtanner.com.
Wow. That is cool. Man, I got to go there. It's one of the best.
All right. Do you drop voicemails with Mojo with all these dials? And if so, where do the callbacks get routed to? Nick asks.
Yeah, so good question. Most of our agents are going to they can take their own callbacks, right? The whole goal of being on the phone is to obviously have the phone, to have someone talk to you live. So we'll have some of our people, we're experimenting with changing out the numbers and having one person just take all those calls. But it's a lot of callbacks. We don't drop a lot of voicemail unless it's a list we know. So like if it was follow up to our database, that's different. If it's a brand new lead dropping a voicemail, we drop them very sporadically, but you got to get voice to voice on a new lead. They don't know who you are yet. So leaving a lot of voicemails is not going to improve your conversion rate.
Okay. Interesting to know. I think you already answered this. Are you managing and creating, for the people that haven't jumped on, are you managing and creating your own Facebook and Google ads or using a home lead generator like Bold Leads? So yes, the answer is yes, you are managing all this yourself because you love it.
Yep.
And you're using Bold Leads for the seller lead gen.
So Bold Leads will, if you're less tech savvy, Bold Leads will manage it for you. And I think they do a fantastic job. It's just, I want to be more hands-on and be able to move quicker. And so I use their product and I manage it myself.
Okay. And last question, and feel free, anyone else, to hop and ask questions with the last about 5-6 minutes we have here. Just go back to Facebook. How many Facebook ad campaigns at one time are you running a week?
If you're counting valuation, it's probably, 30 to 50. It's a ton.
Because, well, what you're doing is you're going into like this little niche area, this little niche area, this little niche area, and you're running an ad specific to each of the little neighborhoods. Like, what's your Washington Springs home worth in this area?
You get you down as far as you can, right? You can go down to zip code. You could go down to, you can keep it. It depends on your area. Could be unique where there's a name. It's not a city. That's the neighborhood or the region or something.
I'm telling you, Brett, towerdata.com.
Yep.
Get the addresses of all the neighborhoods, and then see if we can do an email append by neighborhoods. And then you have the emails of every single neighborhood in Phoenix, and you can run an ad for every single neighborhood. How does that sound?
Tower data.
Tower data. I don't know how good the match rate is. I just heard about them, but
All right,
I think
I'm gonna check it out.
Email append services to mailing addresses are probably going to be the big thing in real estate, or they are the big thing. Just don't spam them. It's designed for custom audience ads, where basically a custom audience is where you take a list of emails, you upload them to AdWords, which you can do now to retarget all the banner ads and YouTube ads. So AdWords and Google actually takes custom audiences of emails, and so does Facebook. You can take a list of emails, upload them to Facebook, and if those emails match up a user account, you can display ads to all those people. So imagine if you can get super niche email lists of neighborhoods. It's like the digital farming.
Well, and Cole Information just came out with that as an additional add-on to their product. So I'm going to check that out. I love that idea.
All right, man, we don't have any more questions left. For those of you that are still on, obviously I'm with Viral Marketing. Why don't we just take a minute or two, Brett, then we'll end this. And feel free to ask questions if there's still any more.
Okay.
Will you just tell me again, why in the world did you hire Viral Marketing? Why did you pay the $2,000 build fee? And why do you let us keep billing you $550 every single month for what we do? Can you fully answer that for everybody?
I can. It's really easy. First of all, I would say everyone out there, and this is how I would evaluate it, I would ask yourself, what are you honestly really doing to your database right now? Right? For me, the answer was nothing, right? So not hard to improve from there. But I mean, ask yourself, what are you really doing? Like, is it systematic? Does it run on autopilot? Do you have a way that if you brought a bunch of people into your database that it would actually add value? Like, I think that's most agents' issues, right? Is they have this database that they have not talked to, they didn't communicate with it, they're not adding to it, and they're not nurturing it. So adding more people to it doesn't make any sense, right? And so that's why for me, getting everything in there and having what I do with you so valuable is I can't call 30,000 people, right? I can, but I don't want to. It's not, there's no point to it. But I can send an email blast of 30,000, and if 450 click on it, I've isolated the 450 people that are most likely to do something. And from there, I'm going to call them and they're going to fall into our funnels or wherever they go. But I would say that, again, I looked at it. I've said before I hired you guys, I said I was going to film a video every month. I never did it for all the reasons we talked about. I don't know what to say. I didn't have the content. I'm not going to upload it. I don't have the time. I don't have the staff. If you really think about it, by the time you hired all the people or took all of your time to do everything you guys do, it's going to cost you way more than $550 in your time. So.
Right, I appreciate it. And again, for anyone who's interested in learning more about the video marketing plan that will help you get more sales for your database, please, I wrote it. It's good. It's free. thedatabasereset.com. Download that, put your email in. I'll send you some more examples when you opt in. You can opt out anytime. I'm not going to spam you. I think you'll really enjoy that. One last question from Nick. Do you use any kind of text drip campaigns to complement the calls?
So we text through Boomtown as an option, but we've written our scripts out. We don't use a text campaign. I've looked into it. I haven't found one that integrated, with Boomtown. So no, I haven't used a text campaign. We do text a lot, and we've got like scripts built in there. We got to drop down, click, and then send it. But we have not sent. I really think, and I guess my answer to that would be, we don't even drip people. I guess it's really important. We don't drip people through our database, through Boomtown itself. All I'm doing through my CRM is sending Frank properties because I don't want Frank to opt out. Because if he opts out of there, the value in like a Boomtown is that I'm bringing the consumer back on there and I can see what they do with properties. And so I can schedule my follow-up every time they do. Like if you favored a property, I know about it now, I call you, right? It's almost like a little weird. So when I'm going to drip on someone with Viral, I'm going to export my database out and go over here, right? And I'm going to drip on them from a separate site. And so like Viral manages my other database. That's currently my Boomtown database. I just export it out and put it over here.
Yeah, we grab your past clients, your sphere, your contacts, your leads.
You grab everything, and I want to drip from there, right? Because and again, if they opt out of my database, okay, right? If they opt out of my Viral stuff, they opt out. I don't want them opting out of my thing that I'm getting the analytics on. So yes. I don't do it like same thing with the text thing. I don't want to drip anything automated on a lead that's inside of Boomtown because that's my.
Because if they opt out, they get out of the property updates.
They're out of the property updates.
So now separate the system.
Separate it out.
So let me be very clear on this. We don't want to. You have decided not to do any of the email drips through Boomtown because they opt out. They're off the property updates and everything. We send the videos through a different system.
Correct.
So if they opt out of the videos and that stuff, it's just out of our system, and they're still getting the property updates.
Exactly.
Got it. Okay. Yep. Brett, you're the man.
Hey. A little louder.
You are the man.
All right. Well,
So
now we're
give
good.
me your email and phone number if anyone wants to contact you about working with you.
Sure. Brett, it's BRETT at phxrealty.com. The abbreviation for Phoenix, BRETT at phxrealty.com. Office phone number 602-635-1953.
Great. Thanks, Brett. You can check us out at getviral.com, GETVYRAL. If you go there and click the Hangouts tab, I got about, I think, almost 20 of these different Hangouts on here, all about database marketing. Go check them out. You'll have like an MBA in database marketing by watching all 20 of these videos from previous Hangouts. So appreciate you coming. Have a great day.
See ya. Thanks.